Hello, my name is Matthew Krause, and I am a business systems consultant with Opal Business Solutions. And today we'll be looking at dimensions in Business Central. Now, dimensions allow you to add customized fields, and usually that are extra descriptors for your entries, whether they be in the purchasing module, the sales module, the cash module. You can add dimensions to almost any screen in Business Central. However, while you can have many dimensions, you can only have two global dimensions. Now, let's walk through these together. So first things first, you'll see that I am logged in Business Central. We'll go to the search bar in the top right and search for dimensions. Now, we'll want to click here, dimensions. Now, here in this test company setup, you can see that there are some test dimensions here. Now, these dimensions, they will add extra layers to our transactions on multiple levels. So let's say if we look at this department one, for example. So for this department dimension, we see the code is department and all the descriptions talking about the department. If you want to look at all the individual values underneath this dimension, you simply go to dimensions, dimension values. So now under department, we can see that there are three values in specific: administration, production, and sales. And we can now look at another one, say this customer group. We look at dimension values, and we can see that this goes in large, medium, and small. So you can change and add any dimension values to your dimensions. You can update these lists in real time, and the changes will reflect throughout the system. So for this example, let's say I want to choose a department. I like to add a dimension value, and let's say I add one called M miscellaneous. Miscellaneous. We'll keep this dimension value type at standard. So depending on the type of dimension value type you set, it can look at only certain sections of your chart of accounts, whether it's looking at heading, totaling, and you can kind of modify that by putting in ranges of accounts here. If that you want a specific dimension value to only look at a range of accounts. Let's say you have a dimension specifically for revenue and expense accounts, and then you add a dimension value totaling up certain revenue accounts. You could add that code in here for that dimension and then put in that totaling amount here for the chart of accounts. So when you run any financial reports, it'll show that dimension value code with that total that you had previously put into the screen. So let's say we added this new code under this new dimension value under this department dimension. I will go back. We'll look at it one more time to make sure it's saved, and we can see it up here. Now, if we want to look at our global dimensions, we'll need to go out of this screen, and we'll need to go to the general ledger setup. So we'll search in the universal search bar for the general ledger setup screen. Here you can adjust a lot of your settings on the back end for general ledger, such as restricting postings and other things. We will be scrolling down this first part and looking strictly at the dimensions part. So here you can see that I mentioned before there were two global dimensions. So out of all of the dimension codes that you have, you can select two global dimensions. These global dimensions will be ones that will be shown throughout the system, and you'll want it to be pretty much the dimensions that would be most important to you and to your company. The best descriptor for the type of work you're doing, or a way to divide up your customers or your vendors. Whatever global dimension you choose, you want to make sure that they are ones that you will be using the most throughout Business Central. If you need to change them at any time, you can simply go to, at the general ledger setup, you can go up here where it says change global dimensions. Now you see here we have department and customer group selected, but you can easily look at this scroll bar and see all the dimensions that were here before, and you can change them at any time. All right, so now that we have our dimensions, we added a dimension value to our dimensions, and we looked at how to change our global dimensions. Let's see a short example of where we can find dimensions impacting transactions in Business Central. So let's go to the general journals under finance, general journals. I will simply select the daily batch. Now, let's just do a quick transaction. Let's say we'll do cash account, payment term. Let's just do 10 days. Now, if we scroll over to the right here, after I fill in some basic information for this general journal, let's say it's for $100. Global dimensions will be in most of your journal screens. Generally, they'll be towards the far right side. So here at the very end of our general journal, you can see where it says department code. And if I look at the options, we can see this new code I just added, miscellaneous, is now available as an option. So we can now select that, and we can also put in a customer group code. Now our dimensions are now being more descriptive for this transaction. So in case we ever need to go find this transaction in the system, we can find it. We can have more descriptive ways of organizing our transactions. And this allows companies to be able to do a lot more things in Business Central in ways of organizing their data and processing their batches in Business Central. So now that that's done, we can simply post this and we should be good to go. So thank you for listening to me, attending this session, and I will see you soon.